You're listening to Cattywampus.
Somebody else start about Death Stranding.
It's going to be me, isn't it?
So we watched Brian play Death Stranding.
Yeah, we did. Kojima and Norman Reedus' Walking Simulator 2019.
And Pooping Simulator.
And Pooping Simulator.
And Being Simulator.
Being Simulator.
And Baby Shaking Simulator.
It's really just a
I don't
connecting.
like that simulator.
It's just a connecting with humanity simulator.
I didn't really see a lot of that.
I didn't see a lot of humanity. I mean, I saw a lot of things that humanity left for you, like pea mushrooms.
Yeah.
Peeing so
Wait,
mushrooms.
you pee mushrooms?
Well, you don't
I
pee
missed
mushrooms,
that.
but
You
if you
pee, and then mushrooms grow from your pee for other players to consume.
Dear God. Why
this
didn't
is-
anyone mention that earlier?
So is this like Waterworld, but just on land?
I mean, it's like Ink World.
Oh, this is Splatoon 3.
Yeah.
Got it.
The
We were all
Splatooning.
misinformed.
I never could quite understand.
Norman
that.
Reedus is both a kid and a squid.
I never could quite understand the Splatoon mythology, but now
The
it's
squid
falling
thing.
into place.
Yeah, this is a weird trilogy.
Maybe this is what it would have been like if David Lynch had directed Return of the Jedi.
I'm in. But,
You know that was a possibility. right?
yeah, I'd heard that, but I'd forgotten about
It's a
it.
real possibility.
I don't see how it could have been any worse than what we got, so
That's true.
you know what? Let's give him a chance. I've got $5 whole in funding.
Regardless of how anyone feels about the Return of the Jedi.
Freud.
The Last Jedi. The Return of the Jedi. I still love those fucking Ewoks. Don't care.
What do you?
The least problematic thing in the movie.
I mean, I don't love it in the movie, but no, that's not my core problem. I don't
No,
think
that's not my biggest gripe with that film.
It's not. I don't love that they're in there.
My biggest gripe with that film is the fact that we spend like the first 30 to 40 minutes on Tatooine doing nothing.
it gets there.
Yeah, I like that their big plan is for them used to show up one at a time for no reason.
Yeah, we'll rescue him by coming there and getting captured one at a time.
But yeah, Return of the Jedi has a litany of problems, aside from a second Death Star and a sluggish pace and haphazard exposition, such as I also have a sister. Obi-Wan's as a Force ghost sitting on a fucking tree log being like, yeah, by the way, there's more shit.
With the way that you're describing that, do you feel like this is Hideo Kojima's Return of the Jedi?
No, not at all. The problem is we don't really know enough to be able to say. What we know
No,
is...
it feels very David Lynch. It feels Lynchian.
Yeah.
But it always has.
Yeah, so this is just Kojima's diatribe on explaining how human connection is valuable, important, and necessary in order for us to survive what will inevitably be a hard road ahead.
I still really want to know what the Death Stranding is, because 10 hours into the game, I still have no fucking clue.
No,
I mean, we
but
know-
that Gold Skull dude showed up and said, you don't understand what the Death Stranding is. So.
I mean, what we understand at this point is Death Stranding is a game about the world of the living and the world of the dead being at a crossroads for some reason that hasn't been explained, which...
Should we explain what the game is in basics real quick, since we really haven't done that?
Is there a basic way to explain this?
It's a
think so.
traversal game. You have to get from one side of the country to the other, connecting
Nodes. You're connecting,
basically giant towers to create a network.
getting across the country to give people hope that it could still be done.
Right, yeah. So it's the railroad.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, that's
But
pretty...
metaphorically, it's the
new
railroad.
age.
I mean, you
railroad.
literally carry stuff on your back from point A to point B, connecting communities. It's a railroad.
Ah,
Sure.
yes. So he is a train car.
Oh, he's Coltrane.
But I mean, no, it has the metaphorical. It has the metaphorical place of the railroad in America. Because the last time America was connected from coast to coast in a meaningful way was the railroad.
No, that's true.
That's what I mean when I say that. Like that's the
Oh,
metaphorical.
right. I get that.
It's hell on wheels.
Ah, there you go.
I have at least
Good
40
old Bo Hannon.
I have at least 40 more hours before I really know.
Before
what
you
this
get to
game's
start
about.
watching Hell on Wheels.
No, I watched the first season and I'm good.
40 more hours to the fireworks factory.
That you called my bluff. I've never seen a single second. I can't believe you watched the first season.
I think it came on after The Walking Dead.
It was pretty boring the first 75% of what I saw. It got a little more interesting when you went to that abandoned shopping mall filled with like wraiths or whatever.
If you weren't watching
Actually,
somebody play it, would you
no.
be more into it?
I'll tell you when it got interesting is when he got off that damn bike. Mm-hmm. That's when it became interesting. When you had to like hold your breath and sneak
Ladies
around.
and gentlemen of the jury.
Yeah, so for those who didn't watch the stream, which I'm assuming at this point was all
Our
of you.
entire audience. Except for maybe 2 people.
Yeah. So during gameplay, you're mostly walking around, but eventually you gain access to vehicles. In one instance, a motorcycle. Brian has grown very sentimental about this motorcycle.
All I'm saying is
This is his motorcycle. There are many like it, but this
This
one
was
is
mine.
they missed the first 8 hours of me playing.
Oh, I didn't miss.
And if you walked for 8 fucking hours and you found a motorcycle, you would also not want to throw
If I
away
played
this
a
motorcycle.
game where I walked around for 8 fucking hours, I would uninstall it.
I promise you, almost every game you've played has been walking for 8 hours.
No.
There's breaks in between for something called gameplay.
I'm sure you've been shooting.
Go on.
But I promise
explain
you,
more
most
to
of
me.
it's been on foot.
I mean, yes, most things happen on foot.
How many miles do you think you've walked in Destiny?
Yeah, you know
Yeah,
what
but
I
the whole
did?
time
You know
you're
what I
shooting
did
things.
during that? I shot aliens in the face. You know what I didn't do? Try to deliver somebody's Uber Eats before their meal got cold.
I mean, both are fakes, so I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
Neither one's real, but one of them might be more intriguing.
Yeah.
I didn't see any exotic engrams for these
I mean, I've
quests,
certainly
Brian.
shot a lot of aliens in my life, so what else has Destiny got for me? Very well. Point Brian.
For some reason, Death Stranding keeps me coming back.
It's the reason it's Hideo Kojima.
Probably. It's the first time
We
in a long
discussed
time.
this briefly. If this didn't have Hideo Kojima's stamp all over it, would you be as interested, though? That's the $1 million question here.
Couldn't tell you unless he lied to me.
All right, this game was not made by Hideo Kojima. It was made by Hideo Hijima.
See, that's why I thought it'd be hilarious if he came out and went, by the way, I made Metal Gear Survive. Surprise. Just to fuck with you.
Yeah, and I would have been like, shit. Like, I don't know. But
I
Like,
got
that's
you.
what
You
I
could-
want one
A
day.
real Andy Warhol movie.
you can
know?
legitimately feel the difference. I played Metal Gear Survive for about 30 minutes, and you can tell that he is gone. It feels like a fucking empty shell of a bullshit game. Like, there's no soul, there's
This
no...
is a much
like-
better zombie game you're playing currently.
You can tell within
Yes.
seconds of Death
Yeah,
Stranding.
oh yeah, Death
The
Stranding.
emotion, the fucking music, the fucking... Just... It opens on this, like... This fucking just view and soundtrack of just like...
Vista, I think is the word.
I don't...
looking for.
Yeah, I don't even know how to explain it. I was just like,
It's
oh,
Vista.
fuck.
It opens with this large tract of land that I can visualize
Most-
through my ocular cortex.
The
most
word
games-
America
Most
scrolls
games
across my
cannot
brain.
do that.
Well, I mean, this game pretty much is about America.
A much smaller America. And
An
America the size
oddly
of the state of
tiny
Georgia.
America. Because
small.
apparently you went from Washington
To Louisiana.
Yeah, to Louisiana. And I'm pretty sure in game
Less
you
than-
only
less than
no,
an
I
hour.
wouldn't call it Louisiana. I would call it like the top of Mississippi.
you went about 10 you went 10 kilometers.
Oh, Steve, it was less.
Oh, wait,
it was
wait,
like a
wait, no,
kilometer
no, no.
in game.
I went across and then it went straight the fuck up. So I'd say I'm like on the side of Maine.
And you still have only walked in game
No,
about
I rode the boat.
you have
You
walked.
know, the boat from Louisiana to Maine.
Yeah.
You know that boat.
But no,
You know-
I,
you know
I
how long it
agree.
takes to drive
It's-
across
it
the
is-
US?
It is very strange because it takes about 3 to 4 days to drive across the U.S. So for me to be able to walk
Yeah, without sleep.
3 days, very easily.
Without sleep.
Sure, 3 days, 24 hours in a day.
Assuming no traffic.
Sure. I'm saying you could do it in 3 days if you needed to.
I guess in the world of Death Stranding, there is no traffic.
That's true.
Fair enough.
there's
Fair-
But there's
rocks.
also
There's
no
a lot of
roads.
Point Brian again.
There's a
no
lot of
traffic
rocks.
in the world of Death Stranding. When he gets to L.A., it'll be fine.
Nope. He's just going to have 4 more hours of walking on foot to get somebody some Campbell's soup.
Or that badass truck I stole. I don't know.
You did steal a
You
truck
did steal a truck.
Pretty dope.
and murdered a dude with it.
Yeah, you hit a guy.
So what's it feel like to take a man's life?
Especially that man's probably going to turn into a nuke. That's another thing we haven't explained
Oh,
yet.
that's right. The dead get, what, nuked? They nuke themselves?
Basically,
Or
when you
something?
die in this new reality that is Death Stranding, you have about 40 hours before your body becomes what they call necrotic or something along those
Okay.
lines.
Necroptic.
Necroptic or something like that. But essentially, it means
It's like
that
necrotic, but cooler.
Yeah, you
But
eventually go
apocalyptic.
nuclear. And from what we can tell, going nuclear involves a bunch of wraiths or entities showing up.
Okay.
And then a giant bad guy from Kingdom Hearts shows up and grabs your body.
I would call him a shadow of the Colossus.
That he's made out of shadow, therefore it's automatically Kingdom Hearts. He's he's basically 90 feet tall and puts a palm print into the ground the size of Well, probably about a kilometer plus.
Okay, so it's a little less than nuclear.
It's nothing like.
Tactical nuclear.
It's just just a little hand pressing the ground.
It's kind of like, you remember that
It's
part
just
at
a
the
little-
very end of
it's
Kung
just a
Fu
little
Hustle
press.
where he
It's
like.
just a little press.
Remember Kung Fu Hustle at the very end where he palm prints into the ground? It's kind of like that.
Ah. Is this a secret sequel?
But yeah, it kills everything in range.
I think Kojima really likes nuke.
I mean,
Every game he's ever made has been based on
but
nukes.
he hates the radiation fallout that would ruin his
Yeah.
stories.
Well, like, I mean, Metal Gear 5 was, like, surrounded with fucking...
well,
I
the whole
remember.
premise of that
The
game was
nukes.
nuclear disarmament.
Yeah.
Like, there was actually a hidden cutscene that was supposed to play if all the
What's a
players...
hidden cutscene? What do you mean hidden?
So
It was
essentially, the
pretty
game
fucking
was
hidden.
the game was always online, and everybody could start their own military or their own militias.
Right. I remember that.
And
yeah.
in game, those militias could acquire nuclear weapons. So the hidden cutscene was basically in the event that every militarized entity in the game world denuclearized, there was a hidden cutscene for it.
Which is fucking stupid.
Yeah, because that's not possible.
Well, it's possible. It's just it's possible. It's just not likely
Possible,
given
but
human
it's like
nature.
if
but there's
every
not
single
two-
person on the planet could play the first Mario Brothers game without dying and make it to the end.
No,
we'll
no.
get
this
a
is-
secret
no,
cutscene.
There's people who play this
it's-
game and won't
it's
pick it up
human-
again, and they
it's
won't
human
disarm.
nature. I mean, it's more about human nature getting people
Yeah,
to
and that was
disarm.
the point.
It just...
It's
That was the whole
I've
point.
seen Superman 4. I get what you're going
I'm
for.
sorry.
I think the only
We've
reason...
all seen Superman.
The only
4.
reason we got to see the cutscene, though, is because people data mined it.
Yeah.
No.
Like, it never actually happened.
It wasn't even a good cutscene.
Kind of
either.
like the only reason we saw that deleted scene in Superman 4 when Bizarro showed up.
I never...
Bizarro was originally in the movie.
When you say we,
That's-
do you mean you?
alright.
There's a deleted scene with Bizarro. You can see it. It's like the first version of Nuclear Man. It's Bizarro. Superman punches him and he flies back into electrical wires and he blows up because he's unstable. So Superman's like, oh, what the hell just happened? Barely tapped that guy, you know? And looks at there's like, oh, fuck. I need to do something better. And then he creates Nuclear Man.
Interesting.
I'm nuclear.
Yeah.
Onward.
What's happening?
The fucking Metal Gear song.
Yeah, their song.
I don't know.
Anyway, Nuclear Man, famous villain of Superman 4. Made canon by Bendis in the comics.
Good for him.
It was in that Man of Steel miniseries.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Hey, it's no stupider than anything we're describing right now.
Oh, not at all.
So all I can say about Death Stranding is I basically avoided everything about it except for a few trailers, and then I saw the reviews.
So you
that-
saw 30 minutes of it before then?
Nah, I skipped. I
Every
skipped
trailer was
most
8
of
minutes
them.
minimum.
I skipped most of those. I watched the reveal.
The launch trailer was 8 minutes.
I watched
skipped
the launch
that.
trailer the other night. I was like, oh, this will just take like a minute. And so I'm like watching it in bed,
Wrong.
holding the phone above my head.
Nothing
And halfway through the
Kojima has
trailer, I'm
ever
like,
done in his life will only take a
I
minute.
can't feel my arms. How long is it? And I'm halfway through it. I gotta put the phone down. I can't.
I'm
sit in the
assuming that
trailer.
man brushes his teeth for 14 minutes in the morning and 14 minutes at night.
At how many different angles?
As many as he can
I
get.
assume he plays 6 songs.
I mean, his music choice is pretty fucking.
No, the music's on
perfect.
point. Like I'm
He
a
also
big
loves
fan
a
of
lot
music.
of good movies. He has really good taste in a lot of good things.
What are his favorite movies?
Yeah, there's a
Because
list
your
online.
definition of good
You asked
movies
me, but like
is
There's a
not-
list
I
online.
don't
There-
trust
you
your
can find a
definition
list
of
of
good
them.
movies.
Yeah, he
But
has a list of his favorite
one of
films.
his most recent was Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
He was obsessed with that. I
Which
feel like
explains the
David. I
mules.
feel like you and him would really get along in most ways.
I mean, I'm looking at this list. I see City
And
Lights.
you're like-
Radio,
wait
if
a
you're
minute.
listening to this,
Where are you
come
at?
have tea with David.
I see
You
City
guys would be good
City
friends.
Lights, classic. Well, actually, City Lights is probably my favorite Silent Chaplin. Beauty and the Beast, the classic Beauty and the Beast, the Jean Cocteau one, good movie. Third Man, one of my favorite movies. Seeing the Rain, one of my favorite movies. Wages of Fear, excellent movie. 12 Angry Men, one of my favorite movies. I'm actually not familiar with.
You and Kojima.
I know.
Yeah,
should
apparently
have
you were,
some tea.
I'm not familiar with Canal. I've never seen Canal, so I'm kind of
he
interested.
loves the Pink Panther films, apparently.
I don't love the first Pink Panther, but I love Shot in the Dark. 2001 is great. Oh, Deep Red. Yeah, Deep Red. He and I are kindred. Fucking best Argento is Deep Red. Love Suspiria.
Oh
but
look,
Beth-
Blade Runner.
Blade
David,
Runner.
you and him
Taxi
should have a
Driver.
sleepover.
Taxi Driver, Road Warrior. Oh, Streets of Fire. That movie's hilarious. It's not good. It's not good, but it's hilarious. Better Tomorrow 2. No, Better Tomorrow 1. Interesting. I fucking hate Cinema Paradiso. Yojimbo. Great film. I've never heard of Burst City. I forget what Burst City is. I want to look into that. And Night and Fog is obviously. I mean,
That's Kojima's recommendation for you.
Yeah.
I mean,
You should check it out.
Night and Fog is hard to dislike.
Guys, are we doing the road to Kojima where we watch everything on his list?
No, we're gonna do the road to Kojima,
we can't.
where David tries to meet him so he can discuss his favorite films.
We can't do a podcast on Night and Fog. That is a fucking documentary about death camps after World War II. What are we supposed to say other than,
Oh, this sucks.
people are terrible. Who would do this?
I mean, that sounds like a podcast to me.
Oh God.
Guys, by the way, World War II, fucking awful.
World War II, the worst war.
Don't do it again.
How are Nazis back? How'd they come back?
Because I haven't seen that film. That's why we got to bring it to their
God, Night and
attention.
Fog is devastating. No, it's an interesting list. Fair point. I'm sure. I just don't understand some of his choices based on some of those movies. I don't see a lot of the third man in his choices.
You don't see a lot of the third man in Monster Energy Presents
No,
Drink?
I don't see a lot of Night and Fog in Death Stranding.
I mean, he makes some pretty interesting choices, but
He does. I will say this: Death Stranding is definitely more interesting to me than the Metal Gear franchise.
Yeah,
I'm
it
way
definitely
more
is.
intrigued by Death Stranding.
I'm interested. She explains the definition between like strand and stranded and stranding
Yeah.
and stranded. Like, I was like,
Well, it actually she actually makes a really good point in that explanation, though.
yeah.
The difference between all of those definitions.
Which is,
Go on.
I don't remember exactly.
I
what
can't.
she says.
That's why I'm
Right.
not discussing
We-
it. 'Cause I'm like,
We
what?
just know it was great.
We just know. I mean,
Y'all should Google Death Stranding.
We all know it was good. We couldn't tell you why or what happened.
Yeah.
Well, no. The definition is a strand is fiber that connects two things together.
Right.
To be stranded is to be lost, isolated, alone, unable to, and then I think it's stranding, or no, stranding is to leave something isolated alone, and stranded is to be stuck alone on an island isolated from
So you're saying the
everything
best part of the game was when someone used the dictionary definitions of words?
Yes. It was an interesting part.
I thought it was interesting. I don't think it was the best part.
Perfect. That's a highlight of what makes this game interesting.
So I recently replayed Metal Gear 3,
Okay.
and I think I finished that in 10 hours, whereas I've put 10 hours into Death Stranding, and I feel like I know nothing.
You've also done all the fetch
And-
quests, though.
You have been doing a
It's-
lot of side quests.
Yeah, and I've honestly, like, it didn't even feel like it. Like, a lot of games...
No, I just felt like a normal era in
it
prison.
felt like normal Death Stranding.
It just
'cause
felt like I was going to
it
work
just felt like I was Norman Reedus picking up
Is
packages.
this because
taking
you're
them.
unemployed and you're desperate for a
for
job?
work.
Maybe. Actually,
Man, delivering stuff
holy
feels
shit.
awesome.
Did this game come out at the perfect time for me or what?
I should go apply.
Yeah,
at
imagine if you had a
UPS or
job and you're like,
FedEx.
you have to come home and play doing a job.
So if I worked for FedEx, I would never fucking touch this game.
No.
You get home from work, they're like, deliver this package. You're like, the strands. Yeah, no.
I want to
Deliver this package, you go to hell.
Deliver this body. No.
Why
Deliver
can't I
this-
throw the package?
Deliver this game
is so
right back to
unrealistic.
Kojima.
Yeah. I don't know. Death Stranding is, so far, it's a fascinating game to observe. I don't know that I would ever want to sit down and play this.
I'm the only person in the room that's played the game.
I kind of,
Everyone else has watched it.
I'll admit.
And yet somehow I still know more about it than you
yeah,
do.
you were telling, you had to get cues from Steve on how to play.
Yep. Because I only learned what I learned. I also
That's how everyone works,
terrible.
Brian.
Yeah. I only learned what I was told, but you
Yep.
were told everything. You just didn't pay
And
attention.
I'm also terrible at playing video games in a room full of people. Hate it.
You
Sounds like a
literally
personal
live stream.
problem.
I know. I live stream without the camera on, and I just kind of ignore it. I'm also usually drunk when I live stream, so it's kind of.
Well, you should have been drunk when you were playing.
We brought beer.
Yeah, there was
I know.
plenty of alcohol.
You were drinking
here.
seltzer water or something.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Does sound good actually right now.
But regardless, Death Stranding is a game that I was very immersed in. I played it for 8 hours without fucking moving. Like, I sat down, I turned the game on, and then I looked at the clock and I was like, oh fuck, I should probably be a human again. Like, it has been a long time. I should probably turn this shit off. And I cannot remember the last time I did that. It's probably been 10 years.
I think the last
Games
time,
don't usually suck me in like that.
it's kind of how I felt with Outer Worlds the last couple of weeks. Because when I started playing it, I looked at the clock. It was like 7. I looked at the clock again. It was 4 a.m.
Outer
Yeah.
Worlds did it to me, but it only made it about 4 hours. At about 4 hours, I was
No,
like,
I
I gotta go.
Yeah, I made it about 8 or 9 hours before I realized, holy shit, I feel gross. I need to go shower.
The last game
and
they did it to
sleep.
me was Marvel Spider-Man because I just wanted that story so bad.
I just wanted to be the Spider-Man.
I
Yep.
just wanted to know what happened next.
Yeah, that or God of War, I think, was similar for me as well.
God of War was good.
God of War, I sat down and played for a
I
long.
still wish I liked
span of
God
time.
of War. Yeah, God of War just didn't do it for me. The combat in that game is
Awesome.
whatever that sound is.
I like the combat.
I loved the
hate it.
combat in
It
that
didn't
game.
stand out to me as like particularly
I
great, but I
loved
liked it.
It was slow. It was methodic. It was
Yeah.
brutal. Like
I liked
it
the
felt the way I feel like Kratos would actually carry himself because he's
Yeah.
extremely strong. He's not a super nimble guy. He can still dodge, but you feel the weight of behind each of the attacks.
I liked the combat in 1, 2, and 3 way more.
Well, that's because it was
That's
all
just-
action.
that's just
like,
button mashing, though.
Yeah,
And
that was
I
just.
loved it.
Oh
And
no, I loved those games too. Those games were fun as hell.
I think the single take thing really did it for me.
I think the story is
There's
way
no
better.
cut scenes.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's a single shot from beginning to end without any cuts.
Yeah, because the only real cutscenes at the very beginning where you're chopping down the tree,
And even then,
that's
it doesn't cut though.
Yeah, it doesn't cut, but it's like it's all a quick time event, and then all of a sudden you're into gameplay.
But the idea is that the camera never cuts to another angle ever.
yeah, that's
in
true.
the entire game. So anything that is a quick time event or a quote unquote cutscene or a boss thing, it doesn't matter. The camera,
Yeah, it never
is a
fades out
sing-
to anything
it
else.
Never,
It's
it
all-
never fades away. It never cuts. It never dissolves. It is a single. Basically, means the game plays in real time. So the story is in real time.
Yeah, it's a single continuous.
Yeah,
tape.
which I think is awesome. Like that is so cool.
Yeah, now I think about it, I don't think I've ever played a game that did that before.
I don't think you have. I think it was novel for that game. Because I remember it being a big deal that you know, that's how it played. But yeah, also the ending of that game is
Amazing.
don't wanna know.
heartbreak. You'll never play it.
I will play it
When?
after Death Stranding.
I call shenanigans.
Yeah, I'm calling BS on
No,
that
the
one.
ending of that game is.
I'll hold you to it. I'll make sure you play through it because that
That
shit's
knife.
great.
That's a
I'm
knife.
at the
That's a
fucking,
knife
like-
twist in the heart. The end of
I'm
that
like
game.
2/3
Yeah, it
of the
was.
way done with that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Actually,
game.
as of the last time I played it before Sekiro came out, I'm probably only a couple hours from beating it. Like,
No.
Yeah, it is a wonderful game. I encourage everybody to play it. But back to Death
Yeah,
Stranding.
but anyway, Death Stranding. Actually, to be fair, Brian, I think I am going to play Death Stranding. Now that I've seen it, I am very intrigued. And since I already have a copy at home
I think
that I did not buy, I might
I
as well
think
play
it's an
it.
awful game to watch. And
Honestly, that's the worst part. I actually really enjoy watching.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad to watch.
I honestly really
Because I don't think there's a huge difference between watching it and
right. As far
I-
as I can tell,
well, coming from someone who has played it, I would not want to watch it. But I think it's more in like you control everything from him balancing the weight and like the
That's
movement.
interesting. Yeah, see,
like
that's
it
interesting
is
to me.
so in depth in terms of the way you move, the way you balance, the way you fucking do everything.
Yeah.
And it's like very in depth, and the movement system is very fucking different. And I feel like you don't grasp that by watching.
I grasped it. You fell a bunch of times.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
you
did.
saw me fall, and you
fall
got
over all
some
the
good
time.
laughs, but you weren't
Yeah,
frustrated.
we got some hardy chortles.
I'm over here like struggling, holding my controller, like,
and
no!
that's why I
and then
enjoy it
bust
because,
ass.
and I think that's another thing that's unique about this game is why I enjoy watching is because it really is kind of a game about failure. Like the game requires you to mess up consistently and quite a bit in order to attain a better understanding or a better level of gameplay. Simply because balancing your weight, carrying your load's going to get damaged. You're going to stumble into the wrong place. You're going to
Yeah.
set off BTs. You're going to do X, Y, and Z. It doesn't really hold your hand that much. It leaves room for you to fuck up and to make those
Right.
mistakes
Right.
that are ultimately going to cost you time or set you back in some way.
Right.
And that's just fun to observe. It's more frustrating when you're doing it because failure is always irritating because it doesn't allow you to get to your end result as quickly. But watching somebody else do it, it's fun to watch other people fail.
Yeah, I'll watch you fall all the time, bro.
Yeah.
You guys also watched me fail really hard for about an hour.
Yeah,
And-
but that was on
and
you. I mean,
that
Yeah,
was
that
on
was
me,
all you.
but
you belligerently
most-
decided to go
in
through
most
the
games-
route of failure.
Well, no, the reason I fucked up is I didn't hit the right confirm button. But
I was talking more
I
about
was
your
talking about the
refusal.
bike.
Yeah, I was
No,
talking more about
I'm
your
aware.
refusal to get
no,
off the
no,
bike.
that bike is fucking mine. And anytime I can ride that bike, I'm gonna ride that bike. I don't care if it's through a fucking ocean. I'm riding that bike. But
I will crush oceans of time to find you, bike.
Fuck you,
that bike-
Poseidon. The
that-
seas are mine.
you don't understand. Maybe once you've played the game
We
and
are
you've
destined to be
struggled,
together, bike.
when you struggled for 7 hours on foot and you get a bike of your own, you'll want that bike too. That bike will be your new best friend. No, most games, if I fucked up for an hour straight and then had to redo all of it, I would be like, I'm gonna maybe play this in a couple of days. But this game, I'm like, no, I want to go.
Such
I
as
wanna
your
go.
such as your temperament.
all the time.
Well, it's also because the story beats have been really, really well balanced. Like, yes, you're traveling. As so far, you've been traveling a lot on foot, moving between destination to destination to deliver McDonald's to whatever hologram needed the McDonald's. But the story beats have been there. Like, you haven't gone that long without getting some kind of a meaningful bit of dialogue or some bit of exposition
Right.
or
Which-
something you've needed to know to advance the plot further.
Which might change or probably will change because I've heard a lot of people.
Yeah, and that's my biggest concern
I've,
right now.
I've heard that a lot of people don't like the game because eventually it just kind of stops and like the story is stagnant and like it just doesn't go anywhere and it's just like, okay, well, I've been delivering for fucking 20 hours and I know nothing. And
and I'm kind of worried that that's the part
So-
that you just hit.
so I'm at 10 hours and I love it. Is the next 40 hours bullshit? Like,
I don't know.
We'll
I mean,
see.
I know the reviewer for Edge Magazine went on Twitter and said, hey, you're not getting a review of this game, and here's why. The reason we're not putting out a review is because it's not that I didn't play it, it's that I played it for 40 fucking hours, and I refuse to do it anymore.
I still think
I can't physically.
I know it's my job, but I refuse.
I refuse. Like that, which
a pretty
that
bold
in
thing
it,
to say.
yeah,
I
which that in and of
still-
itself is a review.
I still think that's bullshit though. I think
Yeah, he's
I think
literally
if-
paid to do it, so
Well,
it is bullshit.
Well, he's paid to do it, and he can't release the review unless he finishes the game. That was part of the agreement.
Right.
And I think it's bullshit that
the same way. Well, critics can't walk out of movies; they're paid to do it.
right.
It's
But
bullshit.
like, if you know that you're gonna be done with the game in less than 10 hours, just finish the fucking game.
Well, that's the thing. You don't
like-
know that when you're writing
Well,
a review.
if you just
I don't know.
maybe.
I mean, I don't disrespect the guy for coming out and actually putting that up. To me, if it's
I'm
really
sick of
that,
cleaning these toilets, so you guys are gonna shit on top of shit for the rest of the year.
well, I mean, if you don't want to do that for a living, I kind of understand why you wouldn't do it anymore. But
yeah, well,
But
then
he
that-
didn't
so
quit.
Did
He
yeah,
just
did he
didn't do
quit?
it.
Yeah,
He
see,
just let people
that's
shit
the
on their
problem.
shit.
Problem is, he didn't quit. Which,
I
by
mean-
the way, if he wants to make a statement, quite a bold statement.
I mean, that would be a hell of a statement
I quit my job because of
because of how bad this game was.
I-
And I mean, in theory, we don't know. They could have been like, "Cool, finish this or you're fired."
no, they didn't.
Yeah,
No,
which they didn't. But if he just
If anything, they probably said, "Wait, that's bold."
yeah,
Let's
probably
go.
were just like, "Cool, if that's really how you feel." And not only that, here's the
edgy
other,
for the edge.
Well, here's the other.
Well, they
I don't
said-
know. Publicly
the-
announcing you refuse to do your job is, especially when there's no political or social reason,
Yeah.
is just kind of like whatever to me.
I can't stomach it.
Like I refuse to do my job because I don't wanna is not
He-
compelling to me.
He basically said, well, the whole reason he said that he couldn't is because apparently he had to, because the review stated
You have to.
you have to finish the game. If you
Yeah.
do not finish the game,
Right,
you
but he
cannot
didn't have
rate
to
it
go on Twitter and do that.
and say that.
Yeah.
He didn't have to.
Well, yeah,
yeah,
they had
That's
to
why-
give
that-
some
that's-
reason
that's
why
where-
there wasn't a review.
that's
though.
where that's
That's his review.
That's the yeah. See,
Yeah,
but
then that is the
but That
review.
is the review. See, that's
Yeah.
bullshit to me.
I
It's-
think it's shitty too.
See, from my perspective, I would have finished the game out of spite, and then it would have been the most scathing a review that could be published as a book, I would have been like, it would have been the most. Like, it's more of like, okay, you want to be spiteful, do your job and make them wish.
Honestly,
you
I
had
feel
it.
like it's more spiteful to not even put out the review and to come out on Twitter and say that.
My
But that's
biggest
just
problem
shitty.
is
It's just shitty. It's like
My biggest
because
problem
it
with
doesn't
it
make me
is-
think anything about the game. It makes me think everything about him.
David, I think this is the first time that I'm like super into everything you're saying right now. I'm like,
That's what the money's
I agree
for.
with this. If
I
that's
don't
your
want to do
job,
it. That's why I'm paying you. Like, that's the money. Like, that's what being a critic is. A paid professional critic for professional publication. That's what the money's for. I don't care if you don't want to do it. I don't care if it's lawn. That's the job. We have all worked at the same place and watched in frustration at people who could not do their job. That's what the money's for. I don't care how they feel about it.
I can't believe you went there.
David, I'm just gonna give you a high five real quick.
Great
Thank you.
capitalism. Thank you.
That's like Don Draper. Look, he's right about a lot of things. He's right about a bunch of things, and one of them is when the guy comes and goes, "They don't feel valued," and he went, "That's what the money's for."
I was very not happy with that review coming out. Like,
Shitty ass bat. And then you know what? Fine, don't review it. Don't go on Twitter and find a way around it.
yeah.
Just so you know, I'm not reviewing it, but I didn't like it. Well, you're a professional critic. So what you're saying is that you also got around their rules for giving you the early demo copy. Fuck you. I don't even know his name. Mr. Edge magazine.
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't
Fuck
really
you,
matter.
Mr. Edge. And Bono as well.
But I do think if
And
you're,
whoever else is in you too. It's not just them, right?
I do
There's
think
other
if you're
people.
going to say that, you should. If you're going to play 40 fucking hours of it, maybe finish it before you say anything. Because if there's only 10 hours left and you've already fucking
That's true.
struggled
If you
through
call
it,
in sick, you got to find a replacement.
yeah, like find your fucking replacement. Otherwise,
Hey, rebuttal.
fucking finish.
Where the
What
fuck
if
have
you
I
have
ever
one of
worked
the
where I've
first
had...
samples of this game? It's been 40 hours. The last 30 hours have been repetitious.
10 hours.
You don't know
10
how
hours.
much time is left because he just wasted 40 hours of his team's time.
The same way a critic can't show up to a movie and go, "Well, I was half an hour late, but here you go." Like, no, you can't do
that
that.
last hour and a half of that movie was crazy.
That last hour and a half movie made no sense. It wasn't set up properly from my vantage point.
Yeah, and
Like,
they didn't publish a review for it
yeah,
either.
but if Roger Ebert was still alive, and
Oh yeah, exactly. What if Roger Ebert go on?
if Roger Ebert rose from his
Yes.
grave, showed up late,
Interesting
showed up late to the Joker,
movie.
to Joker, and went, "I'm so confused," and they went, "Well, you can't review it, Mr. Ebert. We're glad you're back, but we can't review it, Mr. Ebert, because you missed the first half an hour and he went fine, and then he went on Twitter and posted what he thought. That sucks, especially considering he's the
Well,
presumably
that's
he
a
got
little
his.
different. It would be more like if he left a half an hour early.
That's equally bad. Movie felt like it had no ending.
I've never personally gone on Twitter in the past 15 years of my professional working life and complained about my working
Twitter's
life.
only been around for 12 years.
Yeah, I was about to
I've
say-
never,
But I take your point.
I've never complained publicly.
I take your
about
point.
my
Never
job.
bitched about your job publicly ever. I call bullshit.
I've bitched to my friends, not publicly.
publicly where no one could be within
I've
earshot.
pledged to my friends in my treehouse.
I drag them into offset alleyways and hallways and tell them, "Hey, want to know a secret? I hate this place."
Guys, I'd like to talk to you about work, but let's get into the treehouse real
Yeah,
quick.
quick to the honeycomb hideout.
There's no review of Death Stranding in the next issue of Edge because the embargo insisted we finish the game before we could review it. Print deadline was a
Insisted.
factor, but we ran out of enthusiasm long before we ran out of time.
We ran out of enthusiasm
Before we ran out of
before we ran
time, which means print. No, those both can't be true.
I actually like the fact that it says "we," so there were multiple people involved. Did
Yeah.
the entire
I
organization
think
go,
he
"This
means-
is awful"?
He's the
Did
royal,
they
the
go
royal we.
Teddy
Ah.
Rumpus over at Edge Magazine and just have a bunch of people taking turns with the
Or
controller?
maybe he
Like,
doesn't want to get direct fire.
No, it was like the
We.
opposite of I Am Spartacus.
Well, that was from
I
Edge
won't
magazine,
review Death
not
Stranding.
from him,
I
right?
won't review Death Stranding. I won't review Death Stranding.
I'm sure shit not going to.
Interestingly, I ran out of enthusiasm for your magazine some time ago as well.
I lost enthusiasm for the medium of print long ago.
I stopped reading magazines. It took too long.
Guys, put the sticks down. Stop beating the dead horse.
The deadline to read it was a factor, but
Edge
ultimately,
wants to be edgy because they're irrelevant. Move on.
that's true.
Stop talking about them.
Can't
Just move
argue
on.
with that.
I think we should come back and talk Death Stranding and
At least 50 hours.
I mean, print deadline.
In what, 2 weeks when I still won't have finished it or have played it?
or have started it?
Please
I mean,
go on.
I think we should discuss it and come back when all of us have either played it and or witnessed.
Cool, I will
I will be playing it.
4 years from today, good for you?
No, 5 years.
Steve, want to come over and just play Death Stranding?
Steve, you've
I'll
got
just
time
watch
for this
you.
game. You play Destiny. Come on. You
I
can
just
do
don't.
it.
I don't want to play Death Stranding though.
I don't
I
either.
don't wanna.
I don't either.
David, earlier you said that's what the money's for. I'm not getting
Yeah,
paid.
no. We are not. We are not in the black.
No, we are deep in the red right now.
This is not a
It's
money.
funny because it's true.
This is,
No, you're not being paid by a magazine to play Death Stranding. Therefore, you have no reason to.
So,
So anyway, that's fucking Death Stranding. It's great. We all loved it.
speak
I
for-
don't
speak
know.
for yourselves.
At this point, it's an interesting story. I will play it when there's a bargain bin. Maybe if it shows up on sale somewhere on Black Friday, I'll
Yeah.
snag a copy. But for now, diehard Kojima fans or fans of
Delivery.
the delivery industry or the
Euro Truck
Euro
Simulator
Truck
fanboys.
Yeah.
Simulator.
or the share economy, you might enjoy it.
Oh, the gig economy.
Yeah, the gig economy. There you go, because that's literally what this is. You travel from place to place, gathering likes and drinking Monster.
To me, that's the
It's-
most prescient piece of art I can think of right now.
You bottle your pee, you bottle your poo, you throw it at ghosts.
After reading the
What else is
reviews,
there to know?
after reading the reviews for this game, I was fucking terrified. I thought about canceling my pre-order for 5 seconds,
Oh, really?
and I was like, "Man, I'm gonna fucking hate
But
this."
you were
game.
just like, but Mr.
Well, no,
Kojima needs my money.
In the past 5 years,
He'll stop liking me if I don't buy it.
In the past 5 years, I have been so fucking bored with gaming. I've done nothing but multiplayer gaming. Generally, when I play single player games, it's for like an hour at a time. And then I'm like, fuck, I could be playing fucking Counter-Strike. And like for some reason, it's just more interesting. to
Man,
me.
I could be shooting the mans instead of, advancing the plot.
for some
or
reason,
gaining story.
for some
or learning
reason,
something
it's just
new.
it's more entertaining for
Reading
me.
your book.
Take out the combat, and I might give this game a look. Otherwise, not too interested.
Isn't there a movie mode or story only mode?
Yeah.
There is a
Easy
story
mode.
mode, which it basically just makes everything die in one hit, as far as I can tell.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, take the combat out.
No.
Because
Yeah.
I played in a number of games recently that don't have combat, that deliver a really awesome story, a really awesome narrative, and there's no combat.
I think
There's ways to fail the game, but there's no combat.
The
This
combat
game doesn't need it.
The combat is there to make you struggle as the movement does. The whole point of everything in this game apparently is to make you
I
struggle.
thought the bleeding feet and the breaking boots and the fact that your baby cries every 30 seconds was part of the struggle.
it's supposed to be a giant struggle to reconnect America.
I already have a life. I don't need more struggles.
Then you don't need any game.
Exactly.
You don't need entertainment. You're like, I live a fulfilled life outside of art.
Well, that's my 2 cents.
So anyway, I
Let me
guess
know
that
how the
means
ending is,
Steve won't be
Brian.
playing Death Stranding.
Not anytime soon.
Let us know how the ending is.
I'm gonna
I'll
play
check
it.
in with
I'm-
you,
I'm in,
sometime
Brian.
around
I would
Valentine's
like
Day?
I would
I-
like
I legit am gonna play it. After seeing it, I'm gonna play it. I'm in.
I'd like to reconnect once at least one of us has finished it. Hopefully,
finish it.
Hopefully 2 of us, but
Sold. Granted, I already own it, but sold.
Yeah.
sold because my wife bought it.
Sold because my wife bought it. Woo! Oh, I think we
yeah,
already
same
know.
solidarity.
We know it's no. Steve's gonna go outside and read a book in a
Yeah, in a meadow.
In a meadow.
Steve's gonna watch the entire thing through Twitch.
Probably.
200%.
Just easier that way.
Steve's gonna go lay in a hammock in a meadow listening to an audio book and be like,
An audiobook
drinking a nice chilled iced tea.
an audiobook of Death Stranding. I can
Just
see that.
Norman Reedus consoling a baby and punching the floor.
There'll be
went for
one fun
Norman
thing coming from this. In a
Reedus
few months, when
rides.
everyone's finished it, there'll be a lot of speculation videos on the likes of YouTube explaining the ending. I can't wait for those to come out. I don't
Corey,
think
are
it's
you gonna
physically
play?
fun. No, I'm not.
No, absolutely not.
This game looks really boring,
All right.
and watching it for a few hours today was honestly not that great. 30 minutes of fun for 3 hours of not fun. Nah.
All right. Well, I guess
You
we'll
had 30 minutes of fun.
Yeah, the mall scene. It took you forever to get through that, and you barely made it out, and it was pretty cinematic
Hey,
and cool. But
that
that doesn't
jump-
make up for all the
that
walking.
jump getting out of that fucking mall
epic.
or whatever it was epic as fuck.
I mean, that was dope.
I
That
ran
was
up
probably
and I
the
was like,
high
"Oh
point.
shit!" And I
You know what's
just
a real
jumped.
shame, Brian? That we were not recording when you went through that.
That's fine.
We absolutely were. No one knows
We
the
were not.
difference.
We
Yeah,
we were
there
on the
should be a
OLED
VOD on
screen.
Twitch.
Oh no, yeah, we were
We
recording.
were on the
It was
OLED
up here.
screen.
Yeah. It's fine. Let's not talk
Oh,
about.
yeah, we were down.
Anyway,
Because it was
we'll
pure
come back
darks.
when the game's over. Goodbye.
Yeah, we'll come back. We'll come back
Bye-bye.
when 2 of us have finished the game.
Until next time.
Oh, Norman Reedus.
And his funky fetus.
You've been listening to Cattywampus. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr at CattyWampusPod. Email us at cattywampuspodcast@gmail.com. Music by Tilly.